always, and I'm very careful person. I always said either I've been sent by the president. I have always referred to the president as my boss, and it has always been clear.
So do you bear any responsibility for the dysfunction we've seen for the last 5 years?
Nothing. I don't bear any bit of responsibility.
Now supposing that you get elected in August, and somewhere down the road, 2 years, 3 years, you have a problem with your deputy, Rigathi Gachagua, for whatever reason, and you disagree completely, almost in the same manner that has happened right now, whichever direction it comes from. What are you going to do?
I want to tell you, Joe, that what you have said will never happen. It will not happen.
It doesn't just depend on yourself.
I want to tell you that I will not allow, for example, my running mate or my deputy president to be humiliated by junior staff. I would not want a situation where clear responsibility. In fact, I have said it as much, and I have committed myself in writing that there are responsibilities my deputy will carry. Even when we had a vice president always chaired cabinet committees, always did certain things. And I want to promise you that my deputy president will be a very busy person.
But Bwana DP, many Kenyans will remember the relationship you had with President Kenyatta at the start. You wore the same sort of shirts. You interviewed CSS together. You did many things together.
I think you will not get very far, Joe, with this unless you go and ask Uhuru Kenyatta.
No. I'm asking the deputy president.
Because I have told you.
You are seeking to be president of Kenya.
Yes. I have told you what I will do with my deputy president. I have put it in writing that the first assignment.
If he goes rogue, what would you do? Because you can't control what he will do.
The first assignment, if my deputy president goes rogue, there is the law. If he, for example, abuses his office, there is the law. The law will take its course. If he runs, if he does things that are unconstitutional, there is a way a deputy president is dealt with by the law. But I want to promise you that I will do everything possible to make sure the deputy president's office, which is a constitutional office, is a functional office that serves the people of Kenya.
Great. And speaking of deputies, you have in the last few weeks named Mr. Rigathi Gachagua as your deputy. There's been quite a debate, and I'm sure you know that, around running mates in this country. Perhaps this would be a great time to shed light on why you settled on this gentleman.
Rigathi Gachagua is somebody I have known. Rigathi Gachagua is a very passionate leader. Rigathi Gachagua is a people's person. He speaks about the things that I speak about. He speaks about ordinary people. He's concerned about matters to do with farmers. He's concerned about the things that are dear to ordinary Kenyans. And the nexus between me and Rigathi Gachagua is the people. He believes in bottom-up the way I do. And that is why I chose Rigathi Gachagua to work with me.
Now, on the 14th of May and even the 15th, there was a lot of talk coming out of this place about what was going on as you met with the various teams here and eventually came up with the running mate. And there was talk that basically everybody else favored someone else and you overruled them.
Well, those are stories. There were many opinions. I had about 5 people I was looking at. And I took time to ask friends, to ask members of my party, and to ask other stakeholders what they thought, and I engaged them because I believe in consultation. And I took time to consult, and the outcome, as you have seen, was finally Rigathi Gachagua. And the other candidates were very good people as well. Anne Waiguru, for example, is a wonderful lady. Alice Wahome is a wonderful lady. My good friend Abraham Kithure Kindiki is a wonderful gentleman. And Ndindi Nyoro, the young man, is an upcoming great leader in Kenya. And all of them were great people. But there is always a chance for one person at a time. And that was Rigathi Gachagua this time.
Professor Kindiki, your good friend for many years and lawyer, said 3 days after this that he actually was favored by the Electoral College, that he had led in the opinion polls, but there were other considerations.
Precisely. There were so many other instruments that we were using, that I was using, to try and arrive at... I looked at many things. I looked at many aspects of what was required of a deputy president, and there are some that were favored by gender. There are some that were favored by opinion polls. There are some that were when I met groups. This group favored a different person. Another group favored a different person. But finally, we all settled as a team on Rigathi Gachagua.
Because when Rigathi Gachagua appeared on Citizen TV that same night, he said that you picked him because he is a skilled mobilizer and could connect well with Mount Kenya.
What's wrong with that?
You see, why this? I mean, they say that the choice of running mate is one of the most important decisions a candidate makes, because if you get elected, Bwana DP, and God forbid something happens, this gentleman becomes our president.
And I trust Rigathi Gachagua to carry the mantle.
Yeah, that is why one would ask,
solid gentleman.
What are these things that would make him ready to take the reins of power in Kenya on day one?
That gentleman is an accomplished public servant. He's a politician, self-made person. And what I like about him more is his passion for people issues. That's really the challenge we have in our country. The challenge we have in Kenya is so much about leaders who are passionate about ordinary people. And Rigathi Gachagua is one of those Kenyans who is passionate about ordinary people.
Now let's talk about the general election that we will have in less than 60 days. And you have been saying a number of things, but let me ask you a direct question. Do you believe that the elections that we will have on the 9th of August will be free and fair?
I believe they will be free and fair, barring anything happening in between. There's been all manner of attempts to derail that election. There's been a lot of, talk, or, William Ruto will not be in the ballot. How? Nobody tells you. Oh, William Ruto will not get to 2022. How? Nobody tells you. Okay?
That, if I recall, was said by Francis Atwoli. Surely you wouldn't say that's an attempt to derail the elections.
Why not?
He is just another citizen. Anybody can say anything on the street. I mean,
you think so?
Does Francis Atwoli have power to derail the elections?
Are you saying Atwoli is a street person?
Can he derail an election? I just want to be sure. Maybe I don't know some powers that he has.
No. Do you see him often around the powers that be?
So you believe that Francis Atwoli can derail the election?
Do you see him around the powers that be? Do you take that statement?
I see you there too.
Do you take those statements? Do you take those statements lightly, especially when they are said in front of the president? Do you think those statements should be taken lightly? But anyway, so we've moved on. There's been attempts to remove the IEBC commissioners, which again did not happen. There's been attempts to interfere with the the voters' roll. When I said that close to 1 million voters were transferred this way, that way, people thought it was a story. But the IEBC has had to confirm that indeed there was an attempt, some voters were moved here and there. And in fact, some people, some officials of IEBC have been removed because of that attempt. But
the IEBC itself, when at Bomas of Kenya, actually said that the audit had revealed those things, and that is why there's an audit. That's why they were dealing with it.
Absolutely.
And you actually said it was your supporters. I wonder how you knew that.
But when they told you that it was largely people in central Kenya and people in Rift Valley that were affected, what does that tell you?
Is that where your supporters are?
It doesn't require rocket science.
Is that where your supporters are?
It doesn't require.
I've seen everybody campaigning in central Kenya. So would you say that if anything happens in the Rift Valley,